Hey y'all, and welcome to Off the Rails Politics. My name is Brian, and this GOP rep does a perfect job outlining exactly what's going on with the Biden crime family.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I find it incredibly rich. Mr. Swalwell is going to come to this committee and lecture us about how China penetrates our government. I think that's something he may know a thing or two about, but let's talk about how China has penetrated the highest levels of this government, including this president and this White House, because I think the visual is incredibly important. Mr. Bobulinski, Hunter Biden portrayed Chairman Yi, the chairman of CEFC, to Jim Biden as a protege of Xi. Is that accurate?
Not only is it accurate, and it wasn't just Hunter Biden, it was James Gilliar, Rob Walker. I wouldn't have used the word protege. They just basically,
You don't run China's largest state-owned energy company without being close to Chairman Xi.
Correct.
Right, fair enough. By 2017, Hunter Biden's forged such a partnership with Chairman Ye that he planned to share an office space with him and then just removed Vice President Biden at the House of Sweden in Washington, D.C., correct?
Correct.
So here's what's interesting, and building on Chairman Fox's questions, within days of him leaving the vice presidency, ostensibly for work performed, $3 million flows through these shell companies that we've depicted here. I mean, you could see how complicated this is, but the key piece is the flow to Hallie Biden, to Jim and Sarah Biden, to Hunter Biden and his various affiliates. And the kicker here, Mr. Chairman, is that we know Hunter is then complaining about paying all his dad's bills. He's complaining to the other relatives, saying, you freeloaders, I'm having to use all this money to pay the big guy's bills, house renovations and all kinds of things, correct?
Correct, and it's important for the American people to understand the $3 million was $3 of $20 million that the Bidens expected to be paid for the work in 2015 and 2016.
Mr. Chairman,
and that's not just my word. That is documented.
That's all documented. Bank records, text messages, emails. Mr. Chairman, Bob Menendez's wife can't get paid by the Egyptians and then provide that money over to pay Goldbar Bob's, Senator Menendez's bills. I can't have my daughter get paid by, I don't know, Kazakhstan, Russia, and China and then pay my bills. Sure. And we know also that they had commingled funds with the Vice President of the United States. When we talk about crimes, let's talk about the crimes. We know he perjured himself. That's a crime. We know he was acting as a foreign agent. And was he registered under FARA? Was he registered as a foreign agent?
Not that I'm aware of.
Was his dad complicit in him acting as a foreign agent through meetings and dinners and what have you? That's crime.
100%.
That's crime number two. He was clearly acting in that capacity. We have the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, and we already have them thanks to the work of this committee for tax evasion. So, Mr. Chairman, there are multiple crimes that this committee has established ample evidence.
Oh boy, there is a bunch to unpack here, but let's start off with the best singer that I've ever heard on Eric Swalwell, Chinese penetration. If you don't know, Eric Swalwell was a congressman, and still is, unfortunately, who slept with a Chinese spy, gave away American secrets, and his constituents do not care, and they send him back to Congress. It is absolutely asinine, and this is why democracy is failing. The Democrats really need to look in the mirror on this one. But aside from the self-report, this whole video is far more disturbing than I thought. This isn't just Tony Bobulinski spilling the tea. This is a line-by-line, step-by-step, how China wants to basically buy their way into the White House. And Representative Waltz does a fantastic job. So why is this so important? Why is this, in my opinion, even worse than the Burisma story and then the Romanian payouts? Well, with Burisma and Romania, the Bidens were simply just skimming off the top, making cheap money. China, on the other hand, is actually buying something. They are buying a president who's going to sit by and do nothing as they railroad their way across Asia and Africa to secure more infrastructure and send more money back to the Chinese. See, the Chinese will do anything they can to undermine the West because of something called the Century of Humiliation, where China got complacent and the West showed up, spanked them around for over 100 years, and then it ultimately resulted in the genocidal maniac that is Chairman Mao. And so they'll never forgive the West for this, and they'll do anything to undermine it. And they know that the United States Navy could at any point in time block off the Panama Canal or the, not the Strait of Hormuz, the Straits of Malacca, I think, in Indonesia. And so they want to secure land transportation and land infrastructure in nations across Asia. That's part of what BRICS is going for. They want to secure rare earth metals, and they want to secure infrastructure so they can channel their goods. And they want to pay off a president who is not going to stand in the way of any of those actions. That's China's goal in this scenario, and it's absolutely disturbing because it comes at the price of a couple $1 million being paid directly, or in this case, very indirectly, to Joe Biden himself, who is guilty of high crimes and misdemeanors by taking money laundered by his son, in other words, being bribed by a foreign country. He's guilty. That's just the reality. Hopefully Congress will get their act together and do what needs to be done. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed this segment on Off the Rails Politics, because as we know, politics is off the rails. Hope you like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one, and until then, y'all have a good one.